A bit of serendipity has brought me some Booksmith author trading cards. Booksmith was an independent bookstore in San Francisco, and they did hundreds of these cards for visiting authors. Pretty hard to find though. I'm not aware of any accounting or list for all of the cards, and I'm only aware of a very small number of them. And my image library, I just have a very few pictures of these. But I got lucky and came to find someone who had worked for Booksmith and has kept, in beautiful condition, has kept a bunch of the cards. And so I was able to get some from authors that have a connection to McSweeney's. This one here is for McSweeney's 7. This was an event at the bookstore. Not all of the events were at the bookstore. They were in different places. Probably most of them were at the store. And it says on the back of the card where it was that the event took place. This is card number 502 for McSweeney's 7. Michael Chabon was there. Ian Cummins was there. Dave Eggers, and others to be announced. So McSweeney's 7. And the chair there, the chair is the colophone for McSweeney's. And McSweeney's originally did not use a colophone. The first 6 issues of the Quarterly Concern did not use one. The 7th issue of the Quarterly Concern was the debut of that colophone on the journal. They started using this right at the same time they published their first standalone titles. The first 4 or 5 books, Neil Pollock, they had a text colophone for his book, which is the first colophone they ever used. They used it one time. In the next 4 books, they used an Ouroboros colophone, and they switched to the McSweeney's chair. So this event for McSweeney's 7, card number 502. This card for Dave Eggers, card number 430. This was for the paperback release of A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius, 2001. Next up is another Dave Eggers card. This is for the release of You Shall Know Our Velocity, card number 547. Next up, this was a signing for The Lackey Who Couldn't Stop Screaming by Lemony Snicket, also known as Daniel Handler, and his wife Lisa Brown did the illustrations. We did 2 cards for that event. Number 984 for Lisa Brown, and number 985 for Lemony Snicket. Pretty cool cards. I like these in particular. Curious as to who designed these. I really wonder if Lisa Brown designed these cards. I assume she did. Very, very distinctive, very nice design. I like those. Next up is Dave Eggers and Company, card number 697. This is for the release of the book Created in Darkness by Troubled Americans. Created in Darkness by Troubled Americans. Which is actually not published by McSweeney's. It's one of those books that was a McSweeney's book, but not published by McSweeney's. They had a few of those. Created in Darkness by Troubled Americans brings to my mind issue 1 of the Quarterly Concern, where that phrase is on the front cover of issue 1. Created in Darkness by Troubled Americans. This took place at the Park Branch Library, 2 blocks from the Booksmith. And these events took place in several locations. Next up is Paul Collins, card number 439. This is for Banvard's Folly. Banvard's Folly is interesting to me because included in that book was the story Sim's Hole. And Sim's Hole was published as a chapbook in issue 4 of the Quarterly Concern. The cover of Banvard's Folly was designed by Dave Eggers. Next up is another Paul Collins card, Paul Collins and Friends, and this is for the release of the first volume of the Collins Library imprint, English as She Is Spoke. Volume 1 of the Collins imprint. This event was Paul Collins and Friends. This took place at the store. Next up is a funny one, Neil Pollock, for the first title published by, first standalone title published by McSweeney's, the Neil Pollock Anthology of American Literature. Card number 398, Neil Pollock. Now these cards are all right in my wheelhouse for cards I really love to have, because I've got the books, I've got all the books signed, they're all McSweeney's books, are directly related to McSweeney's. These next cards are all McSweeney's authors, but the books that they were signing for, that they were appearing for, were not McSweeney's or McSweeney's related. Nick Hornby. I like this picture a lot. Card number 242. This book was, this is for About a Boy. About a Boy. I like that card. I can see Charles Burns adapting that for the cover of The Believer. Next up is another Nick Hornby, number 459, and this is How to Be Good, an event for How to Be Good. Next up is another Neil Pollock. This one is for Never Mind the Pollocks. Never Mind the Pollocks, card 710. I needed hundreds and hundreds of these cards, but try and find one. Or try and find out if there's one you should be looking for. Most of these cards, I didn't know they existed. I'd never seen them before. I didn't have the card number. It's for George Saunders. Card number 362. And this is for Pastoralia. This is the hardcover release. He came back the next year This is 2000. Came back the next year in 2001 for the same book, the paperback release. It's the same picture, different printing. In hand, you can see it's a different printing. Plus, it obviously is a different printing. So, 2 cards, same picture. Kind of bummer they used the same picture. They should have used a different picture. That's probably George's fault. So, 1 for the hardcover release and 1 for the paperback release. Daniel Close. I like this, and I assume that Daniel Close did his own art for this. Card 553. And this was for David Boring. David Boring. Next up is Daniel Handler as Daniel Handler. Card number 393. And this is for Watch Your Mouth. Watch Your Mouth. And 1 more card. 17 cards I scored. I could spend the next 10 years looking for 17 cards. 17 cards that relate to authors I'm particularly interested in. Christmas in July. I was thrilled to find them. Seller seems like a really nice person. It's just win-win-win all the way around. Really enjoying these. Last card is number 554. 2 McSweeney's authors. Now this card is not for McSweeney's books, but they're both written for McSweeney's. Andrew Sean Greer and Michael Chabon. This card is interesting because they share a card. Lemony Snicket and Lisa Brown didn't have to share a card, and they're married. And those are great cards. I love the design on those. So Andrew Sean Greer and Michael Chabon share a card. I feel bad for them. They had to share. But also, Andrew Sean Greer gets top billing. He is top billing on the front of the card. He is top billing on the back of the card. This is card number 554. Path of Minor Planets for Greer and Summerland for Chabon. But also, Chabon had just won the Pulitzer. He won the Pulitzer the year before for The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. So I'm kind of curious as to how he got second billing. I just think it's funny. But anyway, they look cute together, so everything's good. And those are my 17 Booksmith cards. I had, before this, I had 4 cards. 4. Got all of them by accident, really. I've never seen one that I could just buy. All 4 of my cards were included with, they were laid in to signed books that I bought. Lemony Snicket and Lisa Brown were laid into a double-signed copy of the book from the event. The Daniel Close, somebody had put that in a double-signed copy of Stephen Dixon's I. And the 4th card was Neil Pollock. That was laid into a copy of this book, and the card is signed. So that was a bonus. Yeah, I had 4 cards, all just by chance that I was able to get them with signed books. And here I get 10 years worth of lucky finds in one fell swoop. So there you go. If you're interested in McSweeney's and Booksmith cards related to McSweeney's books and or McSweeney's authors, this is quite a trove. There are others I know. Rick Moody has a Booksmith card, not for a McSweeney's book, but he has written for McSweeney's. William T. Volman has a card, also not for a McSweeney's book, and that is all that I am aware of. But they did, like I said, they did hundreds and hundreds of these cards. McSweeney's and Booksmith, they're both in San Francisco. I assume Dave Eggers most likely had a great relationship with Booksmith. I would think a lot of McSweeney's authors went through there and had cards. I would probably fall over if I had a list of how many cards I would be interested in. But like I say, I'm not aware of any kind of list at all. I probably doubled my list with just by getting these cards. There you go.